Really?
Yeah. I'm sure we can fill that up too.
Dang.
Grab my charger really quickly.
And we are live.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening. Happy full moon.
Welcome, 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 everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for this latest full moon episode of Black Witch Chronicles.
Well, now we know we won't lose you at all during the podcast. Here we go.
Grab my charger.
Listen, okay, I'm sorry I have to do this live, and you guys probably don't know because I don't know either, but I want to be able to see the comments. If people are commenting
Yeah.
on YouTube. We do have 5 viewers. Welcome, you guys. We're just working out the bugs.
Hello, hello, hello.
Our sister and founder of Black Witch Chronicles, Lakeisha Harris, is not with us this evening, and she is the one who usually sets this whole thing up. So all we had to do is show our pretty faces.
Yes. But she is our brainchild for this.
Yeah.
And so she has left us forlorn and on our own.
On our own. But I know you guys will forgive us as we like work out the kinks. And it's kind of like right on track with the topic of riding the wave of retrogrades. So, just
roll with the flow. There's nothing you can do about it.
So I'm Lorena Bostic. And you guys have seen me before. And we've been missing in action a little bit, but there's so much going on that we just really put our heads together and wanted to come out and talk to you guys tonight. There's a lot happening. So we're going to get into some deep stuff.
And I am Toni Maurice Melbourne. You guys have seen me as well. Also one of the co-founders of Black Witch University and Black Witch Chronicles. And as my sister Witch said, there is so much going on in our space, whether it's personal, whether it's health, whether it's work. There's just stuff going on. So we want to talk to you guys about that tonight and let you know that you are not out there by yourselves. We are all in the middle of it.
Yes, we are. And in the spirit of things, we've just recently closed out our latest application session for Black Witch University. So without further ado, I would like to introduce one of our graduates, Miss Charisse Horse. She was a part of the first year's class, and we just love her. And she is a testament to the witch community and what it means to be really doing the work. So I wanted to take this opportunity to bring her out and give her a platform out here to tell you guys what it's like out here for boots on the ground, right?
Yes.
Well, thank y'all for having me. It's the first time I've seen both of y'all together since graduation, so beautiful.
We miss you. Big hugs, big hugs.
I know. I was talking to Patricia, who also graduated from the first year class, and we were like, I don't know what to do now that we don't have class anymore. We were also talking about how basically the entire experience of participating in BWU fundamentally changed everything for us, and I said this at graduation, but when I entered into BWU, I knew that I would learn the craft and magic and pick up new tricks and learn about herbs and stuff, but I did not understand the extent to which I would be personally transforming myself in my life. And so that initiation process into BWU, I think for all of us, set off the next chapter of our lives. So it was just really beautiful. And it came in 2017, right as this new astrological chapter was starting. on a larger scale. So that, I mean, I literally cannot, I don't have the time to express how different my life is now after going through that process, and how much more grounded and secure and confident with not only my magic, but also just myself I am.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
Wow. I got goosebumps. I don't know about you, Lorena.
I, like, you know how I feel about you. Like, I just feel like my child, you know, like just watching you grow and learn and create, like, that's what it's all about. You know, we have tangible proof here of a person who has applied something they've learned in the real world and manifested, you know, like that's what it's all about, right? That's why we get into this. We want to change our lives. We want to help other people change their lives. And we don't just want to talk about it. We don't just want to theorize. We put it into practice.
Into practice.
You know, and like it makes me feel so good to see the difference that, you know, I can contribute to in a person. Like it's just amazing to me. You know, and I'm so grateful, very grateful for you.
I think if people had seen Charisse when we first met her, the quiet, shy, I don't have much to say. I'm just going to sit back in the back of the corner and watch everything going on. And we were worried about you. I got to admit, we were a little worried. We are like, okay, is she going to be strong enough to handle what we're getting ready to throw at her? And my girl, you not only did you handle everything that was thrown at you and then some, but you took it all and did exactly what we had hoped that our students would take away from Black Witch University. And having been a part of your life and watching you struggle with magic and struggle with your own power and acknowledging that power, and then watching you, once you've made that acknowledgement, make your magic work for you, has been one of the most astounding events I've had the pleasure of participating in. So I'm hoping that you will share with us, particularly the subject of your housing, because of all the things that you've got going on, that one manifestation was beyond, it was uber powerful because it forced you to work with the spirit that you had not been familiar with. You didn't know much about her. And when she presented herself, you did exactly what we teach our students to do, which is to listen to spirit. And you have to be humble enough to step back and let ancient wisdom come forward. So if you could share with us a little bit of that experience, we would appreciate it.
Yeah, so we were in Tony's section at this time, and for like 4 months or 3 or 4 months, I've been really wanting to have a home, wanting to have a place that was my own home. And just really feeling that need to be grounded, knowing that like I was going to spend my life here in Detroit, where I'm at. So wanting to like really be grounded and rooted in a home. And I'd also for like 2 years been feeling very up in the air with that generally, like graduating from school, not really, you know, having a place to call my own, not knowing what was going to happen next. So that was also really big. Years it was needing to put down roots. And a very, very long short story. I'm going to try to make it more concise, but
please.
It's a super long story. I mean, Tony's been there for like every step of the story, so she knows how long it is. But one day during class, Oba presented herself to me through Tony. And that weekend before the class, I've been walking through a cemetery, as a witch does. And I had seen my boyfriend and I, we were driving out of the cemetery and we saw like a white rose on the pathway, like perfectly in the middle, just one single white rose. And so I feel like that was like Oba, like doing a little tap, but at the time she presented herself to me, and immediately I was like, oh, I think when I looked into her, did a little bit of research, I was like, oh, like I think this has something to do with my home, with establishing my foundation. And I made an initial petition, which was also my first like formal petition to Spirit, working with any deity. And Tony gave me the brilliant advice of like keeping it simple. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was brilliant.
No, I mean, I was like gonna do like 15 things and like throw in a honey pot and just do just doing too much, you know? But whenever I'm doing my practice, I think back to that because all of the BWE teachers, you know, emphasize the fact that like the most powerful magic is simple.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did my first petition, and over the course of, it's been 8 months now, almost 9. So this has been almost the whole like, time period to incubate a child. Finally, we're like a week away from sealing the deal. Through that whole process, I also learned the importance of like trusting my magic. You know, that's what Oba kept saying. I kept coming back to her with more and more questions because it was a very odd situation. It's a very unique situation. And I don't have time to go into all of the details, but basically it was a very unique situation with me getting a house from someone who lived very close to me and who may or may not have been living in the house. It was all very unclear. And eventually, you know, Oba kept saying to trust. And she asked me eventually in June, we moved in to the house before actually purchasing it. So I'm thinking like, what is going on? My whole petition is like to own the house. Like, what is happening? But, you know, as we all know, as, you know, magical people, that the universe, in order for things to work out for you, they have to go not as you planned them. So like, so it was this really wild, roundabout way of basically not only being able to purchase and own the house, but being able to purchase and own it for like an amazing price. I mean, it's like Spirit worked it out literally better than I could have ever imagined. And within that, you know, I had to do work. My partner also had to contribute and do work, you know. But once I really surrendered to trust, like, okay, like, yeah, I don't know how this is going to end. I don't know exactly how I'm going to, you know, sign the deed. It all started falling into place. And then I found this law that, like, I found the law. Like, I made Oba asked me to cook for her. I cooked her jambalaya. Next day, you know, my friend's calling me for the law that he put on the radio. It's like, if you live in a foreclosed house, you can buy it for like 1/10 of the price. Like, it was amazing. And now I'm sitting alone. And I also like firmly trust my magic, which is so beautiful. Like I don't doubt anymore.
I love that.
Perfect.
I love that.
Look at that smile, you guys. Okay.
I know, right?
Come on. This is like this is a celebration. You know,
It is.
this is beautiful, and it's like it's really wonderful to open with such a wonderful and personal anecdote right now, because like people are struggling, right?
Ooh.
Um,
Yes, they
there
are.
are some things happening, and certain aspects of people's lives have been in upheaval. Okay, I see it happening all around me. Um, I've had my own fair share of upheaval. It wasn't really what I was expecting. But with all these planets in retrograde, like we're not gonna get whatever it is we were expecting.
Right.
This past Mercury retrograde for me was very, very different than any retrograde I've ever experienced. Normally, I don't really run into any problems, but I just had all kind of difficulties, and I was like, why? And then you had to take into consideration that at one point there were 7 planets retrograde at
Mhm.
once. So, that's I want to take a little bit of time out tonight, and talk about some of these obstacles, and challenges that we're facing, but also to remind everybody that in the midst of the chaos are some golden nuggets, okay? And you have to do your best not to get distracted by the challenges that you fail to notice the blessings, because like this full moon, blessings, opportunity, good fortune, workings that you do tonight, some of the things that we're going to talk about a little bit later, you don't want to lose sight of these wonderful things that are also in motion for you. As a matter of fact, it's going to help you to prioritize and focus on the good things, and maybe realize that some of these things that are causing you so much stress, it's fine to walk away from,
Imagine that.
right, y'all?
I think that that's a hard, when it comes to letting go of things, or we're presented with stuff that we know isn't good for us or good for our greater, our higher selves. We have a hard time letting that go. We feel this insane desire to cling to it, even when we know that it's causing us stress and chaos.
And we're juggling, we're juggling a lot. And I mean, sometimes we have to take a step back and really reevaluate and say, what can I put down or even postpone? If it's really affecting you negatively, like we have to find ways to focus on the more positive things, and especially with all these planets going haywire. Okay,
Right.
I mean, I cannot tell you the amount of conflicts I'm kind of witnessing going on around me, and like trying to be like, ooh, I hope that I don't get like embroiled in any of this mess. Like, what have you guys seen yourselves? Like when you kind of look around, because we're used to kind of self-checking and making sure like we're going to be okay, but people who aren't used to doing that are really,
They're struggling hard. There's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of unsurety. Those that are just like, I don't, like you said, you're used to handling things a certain way, and then all of a sudden everything is haywire. Even I myself, usually during retrograde, I might have issues with my electronics or my car, but this one has been a lot of introspection and personal crap coming up that I've had to like take out and examine and determine, is this worth me holding on to and continue to work through it, or do I need to let this crap go? And I think a lot of people have been dealing with the emotional aspect of this retrograde, and that's where a lot of the discord that I'm sensing is coming from. It's on more of an emotional plane than anything else.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And I think, like astrology, like the beautiful thing about astrology is that like it shows you that things are always changing. Nothing's ever the same. There's always opportunities to grow. But like this summer in particular, I think has forced growth on a universal scale.
Yes.
Always growing at their own pace, but like it happens here, it happens. But like this summer was like, no, everyone's going to grow. And
Everyone.
Yes.
Yeah. Tony and I were talking about that. And oh, you were too, because we were talking about the paradigm shifting. So like the bigger picture of that we can look at and like modern times is like things are very different right now. Okay, like we can talk about the president, we can talk about police brutality, we can talk about blatant racism, and where the paradigm shift is occurring there is that we are all pretty much used to a time where even though racism has always been here, people were very hesitant to expose themselves as racist, right?
Right.
You know,
Right.
it was a secret, but you know, they wouldn't miss an opportunity here and there where they could, as long as they weren't going to be outed. But now they feel very like supported and like they've got backup, and people are becoming.
They feel emboldened.
Yes. So while we might want to sit here and like, you know, we have to unpack this, it's a very unpleasant truth. But at the same time, these people can't retreat back into whatever they were before. So you're also seeing these very same people losing their jobs, losing their families, friends, and there's actually some consequences that are happening that wouldn't have happened before. I mean, we're not going to talk about if those consequences are enough, because no, but yet and still, there are visible consequences that we're able to witness, that these people would still be getting away with God only knows what if they weren't feeling like, yeah, I can just say whatever I want now.
And you know, the interesting part is people aren't really looking at it that way, Raina. Some people are just, I can't believe this is happening, and this and this and this. Well, you have to believe it's happening because it is.
It is.
As you said, the positive part of it happening is it's exposing people for who they really are. There is no more hiding your colors. You can't pretend like you're not who you are.
You can't hide anything, honey. Omarosa took a tape recorder in the situation room.
Yeah, she is.
No one is safe. All right. Nobody is safe.
And they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be.
Right. We are all having to like face and own our shit, right?
Yes.
It's coming back one way or another, and it's like, hello, I'm here, deal with me. And like the people who I think I see having the most difficult struggles are the ones who are really unwilling to just reevaluate, right?
Agreed.
You know, like sometimes you... Please. Sorry about that. I told y'all I was going to happen at least once, but... Where was I? Help me.
You were saying how some people are unwilling to
They're just unwilling to reevaluate, unwilling to like allow adaptation, unwilling to change their own perspective, right? So,
but when you look at folks like that, I mean, these are the same folks that have a problem with letting people be who they are on a personal level, on a religious level. They're too rigid in their thought process, and they're not willing to expand their minds enough to acknowledge that there are other ways of doing things. And if they expand their mind on that level, that's going to be a behavior that's across the board.
Indeed.
And I think also, you know, this astrology was asking us all to, because like with retrogrades, you know, I mean, like, that's the whole thing about them, is the forward movement is stopped, and you have to be comfortable just like not moving at the pace you want to move at. Yeah.
Or moving backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving in the opposite direction from where you want to be going. And I think this time will be demanding that people see the power in like surrender and release.
Yeah.
You know, and all of these things that are scary and that don't seem powerful, but actually are the sources of like the greatest power.
And vulnerability. Like, this is a Pisces moon, y'all. It's a Pisces moon, and it's also the full sturgeon moon. To fish, you know, the Great Lakes fish. This is a great time to really get in touch with that goddess-centered energy, you know, and just welcome that into your life, that healing and calming influence. You know, you need some structure, you need some discernment. Now's the time to draw those things in, okay? Because you want to get rid of the negative, right? You want to cut down on the negative thinking, toxic relationships, situations, anything that is going to make you feel better, freer, okay? And then you can fill that space with positive things with the power of this moon. I mean, I think it's fantastic. It feels great to me. When we get a little bit later, we're going to talk to you guys about making some moon water and charging it with crystals and some of the different uses that you can do with the water. We got some stones to show y'all. But like, one of the main things we want you guys to know is that we go through stuff too. Like,
I think as magical beings, it's impossible not to. If you are truly a magical being and you experience things 1,000 times more than the average person, there's no getting around this. You're gonna
there's not. Yeah, I didn't have a lawnmower, right? The guy who was cutting my grass vanished, so I don't think my grass has been cut since like the end of June. Right. I'm like looking around trying to find somebody, and I don't know why, but I just can't. So one side of my yard is, the grass is kind of tall. Okay. And I'm like, oh, you know, I can just wait and put it off. The other side of my yard, the grass is 2 feet tall. And I mean, I'm not exaggerating. It's taller than my granddaughter. Okay. Like, my daughter sent me some videos. There's like toads and stuff like in the little jungle of grass. It's super tall, and it just sprouted up so fast. You could, like, one side is fine, like, oh, and then it's the Amazon. So I had to go get a lawnmower, right? And I was going to spend that money on something else, clearly. But I had to spend it on a lawnmower, and I have to go cut I don't know if I should cuss, but I have to go cut the grass. Like, I really don't want to do that. But that's just not, you know, that's like a little frivolous example. But it was really unexpected. Like, and then to not be able to find somebody to do the grass. You know, usually people knock on my door. Hey, do you need your grass cut? And 2 months.
They're hiding now.
Yeah. Because I have to do it. Maybe it's some kind of, you know, ritualistic bonding with nature.
Or maybe the fae just want you to come visit them.
They do.
So then you know.
Yeah, I've got some stuff to hang up over there.
Ah, yes you do. Yes you do.
They're bugging out.
When we're discussing all of these changes that are going on, I've had a few folks in my inbox or leaving me voicemail messages or sending me emails about the upheavals. And the ongoing narrative seems to be the people who refuse to acknowledge that they're playing a part in the madness. And because they won't take a step back and reevaluate the situation and how they're playing a part in it, the situation is continuing to perpetuate itself over and over again. And when we have these retrogrades, especially on such a grand scale as this, it's going to be little bitty stuff that comes out, and then it's going to be ginormous, in your face crap that you have to deal with. And I'm really seeing a lot of people that want to stick their head in the sand. And you well know I don't bite my tongue, and I'm not very good at not being blunt. So I'm going to give it to you the way it is. You need to stop acting a fool, because what you're doing is creating the problem. But people don't want to hear anything like that. And I've had, my sisters have had to call me out of my mess. This retro, all during the summer, I had to get called out on my own stuff, because I was so caught up in the madness of what was going on that I couldn't see how I was perpetuating the problem. So I'm just noticing, you know, when you said reevaluate earlier, that's what came to my mind, is that it's so much easier for people to stick their head in the sand and either pretend like it's not going on, pretend like they don't have anything to do with it, or if they hide long enough, it'll go away.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Which it won't.
So look, they're commenting. So back, Asha and Shantae said, Miss Lorena, yes.
Yes.
She also said Miss Tony, serious relationship transitions. Oh, Keisha's here. She said, love y'all. Calling your names to get my ya under the full moon while she skinny dips. Sorry, I'm yelling. Girl, she out there skinny dipping in Alabama, child.
What? So you're able to see the questions now?
Yeah, well, no one's asking questions. They're just commenting. Does anyone have a question they would like to ask us? Because we are open to...
Yes, we are.
Questions. We've got Lady Daydream. Shout out. Sam is here.
I'm so glad everyone is able to join us tonight. That's amazing.
Sacred Sister Circle. Shani. Okay. Shani, are you still here? Welcome all of y'all. Those are the people who have commented.
Okay. Well, welcome everyone. And if you missed the beginning, our lovely Keisha is not here with us tonight. We do have our guest here, Charisse Horse, who is our graduate from first year of Black Witch University, and she's been sharing her time and knowledge with us. And then, of course, the beautiful Lorena over there, as we discussed the madness of retrogrades and multiple retrogrades, and the importance of understanding what a paradigm shift really is. You want to give them that definition?
Yes. So the definition of paradigm is like typical example, a model of something, a template. Okay, so synonyms would be like template, example, even archetype. So those words are interchangeable. So then when we talk about paradigm shift, this term originally came about like as a scientific term. And then over the years, it's become being applied to kind of like socially and psychologically as well. So it's a profound change in a fundamental model or a fundamental archetype or example or perception of events. So a paradigm shift could also be a huge change in perception, like because we're all seeing something differently for the first time, and we're all, you know, it's shocking or whatever, but it's true. It's painful, but it's true, and it's needed. It's a catalyst for change. Because the more people are like, this is unacceptable, and you know, once everybody is saying this is unacceptable, like it's going to be unacceptable. But nobody can say that if it's a secret.
Right. Which is what a lot of nonsense has been for too long.
Yeah.
You know, someone once asked me how I, as a Black woman and a Black witch, could possibly want to move to the Deep South. Because at one point I lived up in the Washington, D.C. metro area. And the one thing that I can say, as hard as it is to deal with, at least in the Deep South, when you're dealing with racism, it's in your face. You know up front what you're dealing with. But when you're up north sometimes, those folks are stabbing you in the back and smiling in your face, and you don't have a clue what you're dealing with until it's too late for you to do anything about it. And so for me, I like things to be upfront. I don't want to have to guess. I don't want to have to try to figure it out. And so, you know, as we're talking about the shift in times, the shift in the racism, the shift in how things are, you know, the folks that are up in Virginia where I was at, a lot of my friends like, I didn't know that we've never had this problem before. No, you've never had that problem before because you're blessed to have white skin. I, on the other hand, live this nonsense every day. So you may not have seen it, but now you're being forced to look at it. You're being forced to see that your brother, sister, mother, auntie, uncle, husband, partner, business partner, people that you never thought had these ideas are showing their true colors. Whereas down here where I live, this is who these folks are, and they're not gonna hide it. This is, you deal with what you deal with, and we're the same way. We know you don't like us, and we don't like you, and so we'll just keep our distance. But up there, it was a different story, and so this shift is causing people who once were uncomfortable with showing who they are to come out of the closet and to be their ugly selves and to take off the mask. And people are really having a hard time dealing with the consequences because, as you said, there are consequences. You know, every time I hear of someone acting stupid, whether it's, what was her name, Permit Patty or whatever, these folks are now having to deal with the consequences of their ignorance. And so you hear that, well, you in our country, you should be able to say what you want to say. Well, yeah, you can. The law says that, but it doesn't say.
What do with calling the police?
Right.
You know,
I'm like, really?
or just following somebody home. They should call the police on you.
Right. Exactly. Maybe if enough Black folks started doing some of the nonsense that these white folks are doing by calling the cops for stupid crap, maybe
we wish we'll get shot.
Exactly.
I mean, I can't even lie. The cops where I live are cool. Like, they're just around. They don't do anything. They get beat up sometimes. But I mean, the point is they don't shoot.
Right.
They'll take a ass whooping before trying to kill somebody.
They try it before they kill somebody. I don't know. I would rather during this shift that we acknowledge what's there and deal with it. You know, don't hide from it. And I only use racism because it is such a huge part of our world.
Like, yeah, this has been hanging over us since the United States was the United States. So, like, you know, I don't want it to be swept back under the rug, you know, like, and until everybody is like, wow, what the hell? We need things to change, right?
And they can't change if you keep doing the status quo, which is the whole purpose and concept of what we're talking about tonight. You can't keep up with the status quo. You have to make changes. You have to be willing to make those changes. And as Charisse said, being willing to trust spirit when spirit gives you the information you need, you know, stepping out of your own way and humbling yourself enough to acknowledge that you don't have all the answers. And if you feel like you do, then what's the purpose of you working with spirit to begin with?
Spirit is so busy, y'all. Like, I have heard so many moving stories recently, you know, because a lot of people are also taking the time to go within and to look for answers a different way. Sometimes it's like to escape the chaos of the day, but whatever the reason, people are bonding with their spirit courts, with their spirit guides. You know, they're receiving messages that they just weren't open to before. And that's why I was saying earlier about the nuggets of truth nuggets of gold that are kind of swimming around in the chaos. You know, there's some really good things in there that, like, once everything is backflowing in the proper direction, you're just going to be ahead of the game.
Right.
That's what I want for everybody. Mocha Mama said, a side note, during these shifts, it's best to dig deep and allow yourself to listen to your subconscious mind or shadow self. Those thoughts, in my opinion, are encouraging you to embrace.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
And that name, I like that, Mocha Mama.
Mocha Mama Magic.
Mocha Mama Magic, even better. Even better.
Also made me think about how, you know, a lot of people can acknowledge, like, okay, like, I'm not doing this right. Like, yeah, I'll acknowledge that. But, like, I think also what this time is pushing us to do is, like, to not just learn the lessons, but to actually put them in. Like, that's the hard part. And I think, for me, a lot of the tests that have been coming up throughout this retrograde eclipse season has been around, like, actually putting that in practice. Oh my God, Mocha Mama is Patricia.
Girl, I was just sitting here thinking, I love her. And now it's real, because that's my girl.
Oh my goodness. All right, Patricia, I see you. I see you.
Yeah, my little fox, little sneaky fox over here pressing me.
So one of the things some of the things we were going to talk about tonight was how to cope with and how to navigate all of the stuff that's going on. And Lorraine, I was, wondering, what is your favorite way, or what is your most effective way of dealing with some of the shifts that are taking place right now?
Weed.
Fair enough.
That's my favorite.
I ain't mad at you.
Yeah. But what kind of weed, I shall not say. It doesn't have to be cannabis.
No, nobody said that.
Yes, I'm just playing, y'all. Y'all know what it is. But I am an avid user and believer in crystal elixirs. I make them all the time. I use them every day. You can drink it. You can anoint yourself with it. You can add different essential oils and make a room misting spray, or for your clothes. You can use it to cleanse other crystals, especially when you're using like carnelian. So this is how I do. And this is just like this all the time. This is the carnelian egg. So this is charging all the time until it's used up. So, depending on how you're feeling or what your needs are, like I said, you can drink it. You can touch certain chakras if you need to re-energize. If you're feeling low on energy, there's just so many uses. I do like using carnelian water to spritz my other crystals as a clearing spray, because carnelian is a self-cleaning crystal, and it does also clear other crystals. It helps clear their energy, and it's just an overall like rejuvenating stone. It's very grounding as well. It also like just increases your view of yourself, like self-acceptance and like self-love, and it's one of my favorite of all my stones. That's why I use this elixir every day. And then the other one I do is, this is shungite. And shungite is found in Russia. I believe that's the only place on earth it's found. And it's a natural water purifier. So I use it as kind of an aura cleanser, an aura purifier, a chakra purifier. Like at the end of the day, stress, whatever, arguments, whatever's going on, you kind of just want to clear out the toxins. So it does that literally and figuratively. So, like with the full moon tonight, I could sit these outside for a few hours. I would bring them in before the sun came up. But Tony's going to talk some more about how you guys can use this crystal elixir water too. And you can dilute this. You don't have to use this full strength. Use your intuition because it's cosmically charged. You guys, it's getting the moon, okay, and it's getting the power of certain crystals. You can mix and match your crystals, but just make sure you're not using something that is water soluble like selenite. You don't want to submerge that. And then like things that have toxic components like malachite,
Right.
galena has lead in it. You want to be very careful and try to use polished, okay, because the polished are always safer anyway than the raw. And if you do have raw stones or stones that you're unsure of, you'll want to put them in. Like if I took this container and set it inside of another container, okay, to charge the water, but without actually getting the chemical components into the water.
That's good advice. It's very good advice. So to your elixirs, when we talked earlier, you gave me 3 crystals to use to charge my water with tonight to make my crystal elixir. And so because there is a specific property that I am manifesting, so we decided carnelian, green aventurine, and moss agate were those. Yes, those were the 3 we decided. I'm going to put those in my water tonight and have them charging for a few hours. And then one of the things that you can do when you're trying to really get a good whammy going, you can do a tea. You can brew a tea with the herbs that I'm going to give you using the elixir that Lorena just suggested as your water. And so I sat down and wrote up a recipe based on all that we're dealing with right now. And one of, coming to terms with the things that are going on sometimes means that you need to clean your third eye and really do some self-introspection. And so these herbs, I will tell you what they are and why I chose them. But for the tea, you would use equal parts of each one. So whatever parts means for you. If you want to make a larger batch, a part could be a 1/4 cup or a 1/2 cup. If you're just trying to make a cup full, then maybe a 1/4 teaspoon of each of these would be more than enough. So the first one is eyebright. And I chose eyebright because it clears your third eye, and that allows you to see the energy of things more clearly. So the spiritual side of things more clearly. And yes, on a medical side, it does help. That's why it has the name eyebright. It does physically help with the eyes, but since we're talking from a spiritual level, using eyebright to help cleanse that third eye and open up yourself to receiving messages clearer will help you determine and decipher what needs to go, what needs to stay, what you need to deal with. So that's the first one. The second one I picked was peppermint, because it tastes really good for me. And also because it helps with self-motivation and it brings inspiration for creative ways to achieve your goals. So if you're clearing out all the crap and now you've got your goals before you and you need to get motivated and you need to have a positive outlook on getting these goals accomplished, the peppermint is going to help with that. The next step is rosemary. And rosemary, as we all know, it's a cleansing. It cleanses things. So you want to clear away the negativity. And when you're moving out the negativity, you're allowing space for more positive to come in. Lakeisha is known for saying you can sage your room to get rid of the negative, but then you need to burn a little sweetgrass to bring the positive and the sweetness back in. And so that's how rosemary helps. It puts out all the negative, helps you clean it out. So now you're an open vessel to receive that positive energy that the universe is trying to give you. Time is really good for your throat chakra. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of that or not, but it clears the way for open communication. I put this one here because of the experiences I personally had this summer with facing some of my own crap, being able to voice what was going on in my head to the people who care about me was a hard thing for me to do. So using time to clear my throat chakra and working on that chakra has helped me find my voice again and helped me to be able to verbalize what it is I'm trying to say. And then the last one in this tea is chamomile. And the reason chamomile is because it relaxes you. And how much easier is it for you to absorb things when you're relaxed than when you're stressed out? So if you've allowed your body to find that comfort zone and gotten into a sweet spot of relaxation, then all the things that you need to come into you, the universe can now fill you up. You've cleared your throat chakra, you've cleared your third eye, you're getting the negativity out, and now you're just an open vessel waiting to find out, okay, what did this retrograde, we got all of this out because of the retrograde. Now, what can we bring in? What can we take and learn from this to make the next times better? What can we do from there? So that's the purpose of this tea. And to use the charged elixir with these teas is going to make this pretty powerful. So if you want to use this and make this tea during your meditation time, that would be a great time to really just kind of sit back and enjoy and allow your body to take in all those different energies.
Well, Desiree asked a question, can it be used for protection? If not, then what good are crystals for protection? So with these elixirs and with the herbs, rosemary is a wonderful protective herb, and thyme. Both of those are highly protective.
Both of them are.
And depending on what stones you're using for your gem elixir, if you're going for protection, you could use a smoky quartz, black tourmaline, obsidian is wonderful. There are any number of stones that you could use to make a protective elixir if that's something that you're in need of. And then you could still do the same recipes with the protective water, the same tea, or you could make a room spray, add certain EOs. Yeah. So
and let's not forget your intent, because when you're mixing these things, you're not just throwing them all together and putting them in a cup and they're gonna go, boil some water. You should be doing everything with a purpose. And so if your purpose and intent is protection, then as you're mixing these herbs and as you're adding your elixir, you need to be making sure that the protection intent is what you're putting from yourself into what you're making.
Yeah. Hopefully you're still here, and you wrote those down. Those are excellent. My go-to for protection is black tourmaline.
Yes.
There's just, in my opinion, there's nothing better. It's never let me down. So, but even like I said, smoky quartz, obsidian, onyx, banded agates are good. Tiger's eye. If you're looking for a gentler approach, tiger's eye is a great start. So is hematite. It's also something great to start out with. And the interesting thing about the interesting thing about hematite is the magnetic properties. So while it is grounding and protective, it can also be programmed to attract things that you want in your life. So it's a wonderful, like, dual purpose stone.
So
I hope that answers your question.
So
you said yeah.
Okay. And I have one other recipe to use with your elixir. And this is for a spiritual floor wash. And not everybody does floor washes, so you can also use this in a spritz bottle to cleanse your room or your space. But it's the same concept. So basically, we're giving you a 3-layer approach to deal with all of things that are going on. So for your floor wash, you're going to use the eyebright, the thyme, and the rosemary. And to that, you're going to add a 1/2 cup of salt, and then a tablespoon of your own urine taken first thing in the morning, which is ammonia, or you have some people who just won't, so then you just use a tablespoon of ammonia. But I find when I'm doing magic for myself, my own body fluids are more powerful than anything I can go in the damn store and buy. So don't be.
Oh no, PP belongs in conjure. So don't like turn up your noses and be like, oh.
And then to this, you can add this to your, I use spring water when I'm making my floor washes, but then add a tablespoon or so of your crystal elixir to this mix. And this mix can be used to cleanse your meditation room, your entire house, your tools. If you find that you're struggling with your magic, maybe you want to cleanse your altar and your altar pieces. I tend to, on Sundays is when I spiritually cleanse my home. So cleanse it around the doorways, cleanse it around the windows, just, you need to set the tone for your space. And when you're meditating, it helps when you have it set up like that. You have another question going on? Because I can't see the questions.
No, there's nothing else.
So those were the recipes, and I will post these on Black Witch Chronicles when we're done. I'll post them on the Black Witch Chronicles Facebook page so you can find them there too.
Yes, and we'll do some crystal tips for you guys so you have a little reference, because we all need a little boost now and then. So, oh, Shantae said yes. He is powerful. She got stories. And she can't wait to make the Elixir.
I know, right? P is powerful. Okay.
It is. You talk about you say personal concerns, but then if you actually say what are the concerns, and people are like, oh,
yeah. Look, nobody ever said conjure was a need. This is not for the squeamish at heart. It's just,
we talking about toenail clippings, fingernail clippings. What I had somebody talk about, can they use earwax?
Hey, hair, whatever you can get that comes from that person's physical self counts as a personal concern.
It does.
Did you have anything you'd like to add? Any tips or ideas?
Oh, I swear by the carnelian elixir. In the spring, I was like, my energy levels were just really down. I was doing a lot of work and I wasn't used to it. And I was like, I had a minor possession, and I was but Lorena told me to make this carnelian elixir, and it got me up. And I 100% swear by that elixir.
It is an amazing energetic healer.
Yeah.
Right? And it never stops giving. It never stops giving.
Yeah. And I think for me personally, staying present has been really helpful in navigating this energy. So in the mornings, I try to get 8 or 10 minutes of just presence, because I think when we're present, we're more open. We're just more open. And we can react to the energies in a more grounded way.
Right.
Okay, we're getting some questions. Elquina Blue said, with the room cleansing, wouldn't sage be enough? Sometimes it's not. And some people don't like sage. I rarely sage. I use cedar quite a bit. I'm very fond of juniper and Palo Santo, but I don't really care for sage.
I'm not talking about just cleansing the room. We're talking about setting the intention for dealing with the shifts of this retrograde. And so if you are dealing with a lot of crap at one time and you're just trying to get yourself centered and grounded, that's the purpose of this particular recipe, is to help you with that. And so sage, although a wonderful cleanser, is not the end all be all. There are so many others out there that you can use. And if sage is the one that you use all the time, switching it up is not a bad thing either.
Or doing both, because I mean, you can't wipe your tables down with sage smoke. You know what I mean? You've got
Right.
something tangible here that you're gonna spiritually cleanse your tabletops, your doorknobs, your knickknacks, your altar items. You could even use this when you first buy your, like if you're buying taper candles or whatever you're doing, you want to wipe them off, clear off that corporate energy. There's all sorts of uses for these teas, for the crystals, the gem elixirs. Like, the sky is the limit.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're used to just saging, there's nothing wrong with adding another tool to your repertoire, because like I said, then these areas are going to get some needed attention too. And any stagnant energy is going to be moved, right? You're going to feel a whole new flow.
And it's always good to have more than one way of doing things. If you've got a couple of different tricks that you can pull on, let's say you're out of sage, or you can't get your hands on a sage bundle, but you have some rosemary or some thyme or cedar or any of these others, then you at least know that there are other options available to you.
I love all of you very much. Tony, Charisse, Sam, Patricia, everyone in chat, Shantae, Desiree.
We love you too. We can't be without our Raina.
I'm like a little rainbow unicorn right now.
Right now?
Yeah, just right now. I don't know what it is.
You don't know what it'll be in an hour, but right at this very moment.
Yeah. At this moment, yeah. But that's a good thing, Very positive.
Does anybody have any questions or even any suggestions or additions to ideas of dealing with things as they're going about their day-to-day?
This is one like all-purpose thing that I make. And I picked up the recipe from a reader in New Orleans, but because he told me that one of my spirits wanted me to make this. So
okay.
Water, holy water, and frankincense.
What was the first one? Florida water?
Yeah. Holy water and frankincense. And I put it in a little spritz bottle, and that's what I use like if something energetically mucky has gotten on me and I don't have time to like do a spiritual bath, or I don't have time to like do a floor wash, or even like, smudge, I'll just like spritz some of that through the room. So that's what I've been using recently.
Is this holy water you obtained from like a Catholic church or a Episcopalian or like?
No, well, it's holy water I got from the Botanica. I mean,
if somebody would ask, because I see people being like, we gotta go to the church and somehow get to the water, and we have to let people know, like, okay, you can, like, I have some real water, like from the Ganges River, and then I also have the store-bought that you get from like the Indian grocery store. But lucky for me, like I dated an Indian guy for 8 years, and he gave me this like real water from his sisters. So, but until I got that, I was using what I bought from the store.
Well, you can also, if you are able to get your hands on just some spring water and pray the 103rd Psalms over it, and that also will give you holy water for those who can't or don't have the means to go out and get it otherwise.
Yeah. I've also used like rainwater, like
a
really powerful storm. I've used that instead of holy water. So it doesn't have to be holy, just like some sort of spiritually
charged water.
Charged water, yeah.
Excellent. All right, you guys, I think that we are going to be coming to a close. And Shantae, it depends on if you're charging the water with the moon, then you want to go with the cycles of the moon according to whatever it is that you're trying to do. But as far as the crystal elixirs, you can make those anytime as you go along. as large or small a batch as you need, because we're just I use distilled water.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I use the filtered water. Yes, Mocha Mama Magic. Out the back door or down the toilet. That's right. She's dropping knowledge in the chat, y'all.
Hey.
Which we appreciate. She is another graduate.
She is another graduate.
Someone we're very proud of.
I love all
who we love. So keeping it real, y'all. Black Witch University, Black Witch Chronicles. You can find us on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook, Eye of Destiny, and www.eyeofdestiny.org. We have a website, blackwitchuniversity.org. And it won't be too long before we're opening up applications again. So be ready, be watching our Facebook page to see when we're taking applications again. Tony?
You can find me on Facebook at Ebony Sage Apothecary. You can also find me online at www.ebonysage.com. And we've had quite a few people who have been interested in registering for the classes or applying for the classes. So please, please make sure you pay attention to the BWC Facebook page, because we will post it there when they open up again for the fall.
Yes. You're welcome, Victoria. Victoria said thank you for sharing her wisdom. She said we were the soundtrack to her full moon ritual this evening. And Danye is in the house.
Yay, Danye, what? Hello, cousin.
Coming in late, girl.
That's all right. Charisse, thank you so much for joining us tonight and sharing your story and your energy and your love and your spirit and everything about you with all of us tonight.
Thank y'all so much for inviting me. It's been a really fun hour of chatting and catching up with y'all. And thank you all for the service of changing my life.
Oh, we love you. You are so welcome.
You have made us so proud.
It's an honor and a privilege.
I love all of y'all too. And to all of my fellow graduates, Danye and Patricia and Disha, who are on the call.
Ooh, one of our interviewees. It's Victoria. That's Victoria.
Hi. It's so good you're joining us.
So Shantae and Victoria are here.
Yes, yes. That's awesome. I'm so excited.
Oh, Charisse, Danye said, I'm so proud to see you up there.
Oh my, talk about proud. I'm so proud of Danye.
I know, right? Oh my God.
She's another one of those very shy witches and boys.
Hello.
And then let me tell y'all a little something about Black Witch University. Let me tell y'all how spirit works. Danye turned out to be, my younger sister was a member of the first class. And we were at our first retreat, and somehow or another, we all got to talking about, where we come from and family. And the next thing I know, I realized that Danye is actually one of our family members. So I've never heard of her, never seen her name before. And then all of a sudden, here we are communing at Black Witch University's first retreat, and we get blessed with a new family member. How awesome is that?
Right.
How awesome is that? So I am so proud of her, because it takes a lot to acknowledge who you are and what you are and reclaim that power. And when you're a shy individual, it's even harder to do that. And Danye just went, you know what? I'm a Black witch. Y'all just gotta deal with that shit. And I love every minute about it for her.
Yeah. Come on, ancestors. Yeah.
Right?
They are busy, y'all. They are moving in our lives.
They are making all kinds of things.
Follow their lead. Look how they showed Charisse. Okay? Sign after sign after sign. Tangible things arose in the middle of the path. Come on, y'all. Like, when the signs are there, don't second guess yourself. Have faith in yourself.
Yep.
And take these supportive measures. You know, use your crystals for support, your teas, your floor washes, your baths. Burn those candles. Set your intentions. It works.
Wow. This has been a wonderful full moon night. We have missed it tremendously, but I can only imagine the joy she is experiencing right now, skinny dipping under a full moon. I mean, as a Yemi, y'all don't get too much better. Okay. So
under a full Pisces moon.
Right. As much as we miss her, I am so grateful that she has had this time to rejuvenate her spirit, because she gives so much to so many that she does need to take that time and replenish her own cup every now and then.
Yeah.
So
bless that.
Bless that. And bless all of y'all too for coming and joining us. Thank you.
Thank you all. Until next time, everybody.
Bye,
y'all.
Loves.